All right, everybody, this is the video for the Explore Performance Task Response 2A sample scoring exercise. All right, so just a reminder, all right, for 2A, all right, we are talking about our computational artifact. All right, so remember, the scoring guidelines say the computational artifact identifies the computing innovation for row 1 and provides an illustration, representation, or explanation of the computing innovation's intended purpose, function, or effect, right? So that's row 1 that we are scoring. And then we are scoring row 2, where we are looking for response 2A to state a fact about the correctly identified computing innovation's intended purpose or function. Okay, and so let's go ahead and look at a particular sample. All right, so we have this sample. All right, this is a sample about blockchain. All right, so if we look at this particular one, we can make it a little larger. All right, and so we're looking at this. This was the computational artifact that a student created. All right, so it says blockchain. All right, it shows all these different digital currencies. All right, so a transaction of digital currency is requested. The arrow shows the request is sent to a group of computers called nodes. All right, the nodes verify your transaction and add the data to a digital ledger, which each node has a copy of. All right, and so this is showing some sort of a server room, something like that. All right, so this was the computing innovation that they've identified called blockchain. All right, and they showed how it functions. All right, so now the question is, all right, if we go back to the scoring guidelines, let me make this a little bit smaller. Once again, all right, so for row number 1, all right, did the computational artifact identify the innovation? The answer is yes, right? It identified as blockchain, right? Then, did it provide an illustration, representation, or an explanation of the computing innovation's intended purpose, function, or effect? So the answer there is yes. So we can go ahead and give row 1 a point. All right, now why or why not? All right, well, let me give you some text to put in there. All right. And so for row 1, we can say that the computational artifact identified the computing innovation, blockchain, and illustrates the function of blockchain. It verifies your transaction and adds the data to a digital ledger. All right. So pretty easy. All right. So that is row 1. All right. Now, row 2, remember we are looking at the response for 2A. All right. So this was what they wrote for 2A. My innovation is blockchain, which is designed to create a framework for online transactions that is more secure. Now, notice here, they're referencing something. This is in-text references, which is part of row 8. But then it says blockchain functions as a series of computers called nodes. When one computer requests a transaction, each computer independently verifies the authenticity of the request using certain algorithms. Then, once all the nodes verify the request's identity, the data about the request is added to a computerized ledger called a block in the chain, also referencing Rosic. My artifact provides an illustration for each step of the process of how blockchain works. It also allows the reader to see the amount of data blockchain uses. All right, so have they earned the point for row 2? So now we want to go back up and look at response 2A, so row 2. Did they state a fact about the correctly identified computing innovation's intended purpose or function? So have they stated that? All right. And so they have stated that. All right. So they do earn the point there. And so let's talk about why that is. All right. And so for row 2, we can say, yes, they earned the point. How did they earn the point? They earned the point. All right. The response states the blockchain functions as a series of computers called nodes. All right. And so have they stated more than that? Yes, of course they have. All right. But very simple. All right. All they need to do is state one correct fact about the intended purpose or function. And so they've earned both rows 1 and 2. All right. So now the rest of this has a number of other examples. So response B, response C, D, and so on. All right, these are all different uh, computing innovations and the corresponding computational artifact a student created, and then their written response for 2A. And so you are going to go through and you are going to grade each of these responses. You're going to decide if each gets a point, and then why or why not. You can simply just write some text in there to explain why you would or would not give each of these a point. All right. So remember, this assignment is going to be due at 11:59 p.m.